Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. So in today's video we're going to have a look at Bitcoin. Obviously it's retraced, it's dipped, it's dumped, however you want to articulate it, just not to offend anybody. Look, I personally think that, there's been a lot of stuff sort of spoken on various different YouTube channels. Obviously, I did a bit of not a rant video, but sort of my take on everything that BitBoy's been saying, everything that George from 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗧 has been saying, Benjamin Cohen. And, I think this is a nice little follow-up, right? Bearing in mind, no channel is looking at the fundamentals. And I think there is a fundamental change to Bitcoin. And I think, we should probably cover what's just happened, right? Because fundamentally, it's a shift in what we've seen traditionally. So if you like this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe, tap that bell, select all the notifications so you never miss one of these awesome videos. Let's get down to the desktop. Let's keep this one short, punchy, and sweet. Okay.
And guys, this video has been sponsored by Cheeky Crypto, and specifically the Cardano ADA pool. If you are looking to support the channel and our effort here to communicate out all the recent kind of news, articles, price changes and price action of your favorite altcoins, then there's no better way than delegating your ADA into our stake pool. By doing so, you'll not only support the channel, but you will also earn a juicy return and a nice passive income on your ADA holdings. It's really simple to do, guys. Just load up your 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦 or 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 wallet, drop your ADA into the wallet, and then find the Cheeky Crypto pool via the ticker CHEEK. In doing so, you'll earn a nice juicy return and support the channel. There is no better time to do so, so why not delegate to Cheeky Crypto today?
Okay, so we're going to start on CoinMarketCap. So Bitcoin down to 45.28, down 6.33%. Nice little dip. For me, this is I see this as an opportunity to purchase some fear that's in the market currently. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This should be treated as educational content only. Right, let's sort of get into some of the fundamental shifts, right? So 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 acts on Bitcoin price dip and buys 150 BTC, right? So this probably seems like, insignificant. It's only 150 BTC, but they add this to their current holdings, and they did purchase the dip when it dropped down to I think about 43,000 on the day that they made it legal tender in their country. So for me, where's the fundamental change? Well, there's likely to be a number of other countries that are going to look to follow suit in regards of making Bitcoin legal tender, right? And I think if this happens, obviously we've got lots of market manipulation going on. I think it's going to become really challenging for some of these institutions to manipulate the markets like they once did. I think you're not going to see as much volatility in Bitcoin in the future, because whenever there is a dip, I think you're going to have several countries purchasing it. Obviously you've had like MicroStrategy purchasing it, but who knows which of these companies partaking in this market manipulation. It does seem to me that they work together to some degree. But let's get into this article. I do think this is a big shift for Bitcoin and in turn for the rest of the market, so including altcoins. So 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 didn't miss the chance to buy the dip as Bitcoin fell below or back down to, should I say, $45,000 after a week of being bullish. I don't think it's really been a week of being bullish, to be quite honest. Despite warnings from global agencies regarding the adoption of Bitcoin, 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧's government continues to seize market opportunities, and they seem to be buying the fear. I love that. As Bitcoin's price fell below 46,000 today, the president of 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗧 announced on Twitter that the country bought the dip. He bought the fear. He should have phrased that differently. And they basically purchased 150 new coins. The Central American government now holds 700 BTC, worth close to 32 million at the time of writing this article. And I guess there's the it's not financial advice, it's presidential advice. You've got to love that. You really have. A nice little twist on that. Obviously, lots of people have to cover their backs, like ourselves. because there are many people that will just read this tweet and just purchase it, right? And that might, work out to be the right thing. But if you're not a financial advisor, you can't really give financial advice. So, yeah, as reported by 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 and several other reputable outlets, 𝗕𝗪𝗠𝗏 bought another dip on the BTC, became the day that BTC became legal tender in their country, when Bitcoin experienced a flash crash below 43,000. So they're being very shrewd with this, right? And it's fantastic, really, to be reading this, because I think they're going to do remarkably well, because that 32 million will shortly be worth 64 million, in my opinion. Okay, maybe more. El Salvador's move towards adoption got the crypto universe excited, especially with the possible tax exemption for Bitcoin investors. However, the government's decision to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender is not totally free of problems. Aside from protests and marches against the government's Bitcoin move, credit rating agency Standard & Poor's Globals said that the adoption has immediate negative implications for the country's credit rating. And this is basically countries just turning the screw, because they're not going to be able to keep countries in a state of poverty, right? Like, it is interesting. This is just my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's entitled to one, right? And with that said, do let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I think this is interesting. I think it gives us an idea of where we're heading, in the future, and that's kind of what Nick and myself are always trying to do when it comes to the fundamentals of these projects, right? Nick kind of looks at the historical data and what we've seen and the trends and the analysis, and I kind of keep an eye on some of the fundamental changes in these projects, right? And we're the first people to tell you, right, if something fundamentally looks like it's changing in a negative way. We saw this with Reef, right? And as much as people don't like to hear it, fundamentally, the project wasn't doing what they were, articulating it was going to do, right? I mean, they dumped loads of coins on the market, right? And that was a fundamental change for us, right? They can make it look however they want to make it look, but ultimately they dumped on the market, and they promised token burns and buybacks, and none of this materialized, right? And we saw this very early on, and this is having an understanding of what we've seen historically, being able to tell when people are just not being sort of truthful and transparent and honest. And, we're the first people to tell you when we see this sort of stuff. And, what I'm telling you today is I'm seeing a shift in the fundamentals for Bitcoin that is not going to be in the technical data, the analysis that others are covering, right? And this is no digs at anybody. This is just, you've got to look at the fundamentals. I think, the guys that were talking on the other channels, mentioning fundamentals not being in the technical analysis, completely agree with that. But, you can't sit there and say price predictions and not continue to look at the fundamentals and just stick with your guns. You've got to do that. For me, this is a positive fundamental shift for Bitcoin. Obviously, just having it as legal tender was a shift, but having the countries purchasing dips like this is another shift, in my opinion, and it's an interesting way to look at the market moving forward. So positive news in my eyes. I thought it was worth covering. Do let me know in the comments, what your thoughts are. Do you think this is a shift in the fundamentals? And what are your thoughts on it, really interested to sort of get a gauge of what people's thoughts and opinions are. If you enjoyed this content, mash up the like button, subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and I think this dip will be short-lived. Take care, catch you in the next one.